Tag in Madison, Connecticut.
Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, man. Amazing journey. And just for me, again, like a handful of people that have mentioned in terms of not necessarily being artistic, not a creative bone in their body per se. What a master class, brother, you've put on just in terms of, I've learned so much just in terms of some of the creative concepts and how you've had to approach things on the painting thing. And that's the piece that is really, I'm enamored with you. I've actually, through the schoolhouse deli. So like I grew up here, raising my three boys here with my wife, Sue, who grew up here right on Stonewall Lane, a stone's throw away from the deli. And,
Yeah.
so when my oldest is 24, but, every Saturday we're in Schoolhouse Deli after any youth sporting event.
That is awesome.
And so getting caught up on you, as well. Your mom would see the boys dressed up. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah, you've got kids too. What are they doing? And she would always catch up. So I kind of lost track of you after Endicott.
Yeah.
So to hear your journey and what you've gone through and, with your cancer survival, and congratulations on a 5-year remission,
Thank you.
is just amazing. And our little town too, just, there's so many creative people that come out of Madison and the youth. Ever since I started getting an education, seeing what they used to do and sometimes finding themselves afterwards, like Christopher, who Scott mentioned, that's on here. I coached him in Little League. We won a championship together. He was the winning pitcher. He was a stud. It was awesome. But Tom hit on some stuff. And so I was going to ask you, I used to teach a sport and society class in college, and like the premise was, sport mirrors society. And you've answered a good chunk of this in terms of your sports background and how it's tied into, I think more so you talked on the business component, right? The resiliency, hearing no, and those kind of things. I was curious because I just have no clue, but is there any carryover from the athletics piece to that creativity piece when you're thinking about getting on the canvas or getting into the canvas? And if so, is there any similarities or just similarities, and what does that look like and feel like?
So that's an amazing question. Golf and painting is the same thing. Because you have to be creative. I think as far as like going through adversity and stuff with sports and college sports and stuff like that, knee surgeries, all that stuff fuels your creativity and kind of gets you to where you want to go. But if you lacrosse is a pretty creative sport. I played attack, so it's like pretty creative sport. You kind of have to be nifty and shifty. But I've been playing a lot of golf, and it's like very interesting to see how my buddies hit their shots and their thought process compared to how I hit my shots and my thought process. And I beat them every time, but they think that I'm just absolutely nuts because I just I just try ridiculous shots. So I think as far as the two go together, I would say in my, now that I'm older, I can understand the mesh of them more. But I think everything about sports is creative. Look at Patrick Mahomes. That man is an artist. They're the best pitchers in the MLB, they're artists. So I even always say sometimes art isn't everything that someone is doing. Entrepreneurship, that's 100% a form of art. It's a creative way to make something. So I think that people use the term art way too based on visual art or art like this, when I think art is all around us every day. It's whatever you want to make it. And I always go back to entrepreneurship, and I think entrepreneurship is a massive form of art that isn't recognized as a form of art, because it's the mind of an entrepreneur and someone who's in that business is so creative to get to where they need to go.
That was like a mic drop moment. I mean, still have questions, but that was phenomenal. And I think it's so true.